Kenton, welcome to That Will Never Work. I've been looking forward to this one. I get pitched all kinds of interesting products and services, but I've got to say, this one is in a category all by itself. So I think without further ado, I'd love for you to jump right in and start off actually a little bit about what is the problem you were trying to solve, but then I want you to get to this quite unique solution that you've come up with.
Yeah, sure thing. Hi, Mark. This is so fun to share our stories. So, for me, this was an unexpected journey, like most entrepreneurs, I think. But right after college, I found myself living and volunteering in Africa, in Kenya specifically, and wasn't planning on my life changing. But probably about 2 or 3 weeks into my time, I got to live and volunteer at a small orphanage. And I was there every day with the kids, and I slept where they slept. I ate what they ate. It was such an incredible experience. But about 2 or 3 weeks into my time there, all the kids and I were walking one day down kind of the one road in a village, and I'll never forget it. There's a little girl walking next to me, probably 7 or 8 years old, and she had on a beautiful white dress. I always remembered that. But as I looked down at her, I was absolutely shocked at how small her shoes were. She was wearing shoes that were way too small for her feet. The shoes were so small, she had to cut open the front to let her toes stick out. And, I don't know if I hadn't seen this before, or maybe if she hadn't worn these before or what, but it was like the first time I was seeing this, and it just kind of hit me. And so kind of with new eyes, I looked around at all the kids, and I noticed that many of them either had no shoes, or they were doing what this little girl did. They had cut open the front to let their toes stick out because their feet had obviously outgrown their shoes. And so that later that day, I went to the director of the orphanage and, started asking questions. Why? I just kind of wanted to understand why do so many kids have shoes that don't fit? And he said, we're a very poor orphanage. We can barely afford food sometimes, and so we cannot buy the kids new shoes, even cheap shoes, every time their feet grow. And then he said, these are kids, like their feet are growing all the time. And just right then, spur of the moment, right in that second, it's the only idea I've ever had, but I thought to myself, why couldn't there be a shoe that could adjust and expand its size? Why couldn't there be a shoe that could grow? Wouldn't that make sense for these kids? And who knows, maybe more kids around the world too. And so I wrote it down in my journal. I'm so glad I did. And that's kind of where this all started. And again, an unexpected journey, but so glad that I get to be on it.
So your product is a one size fits all shoe, or it's a shoe that grows as the foot? Give me more detail quickly. What is this thing? How did you solve that
great
problem?
Question. So, I got back home from those travels and I jumped in with it, grabbed a few friends. We jumped in. Super long story short, I wanted to make a shoe that could grow 10 sizes and last for 20 years, right? Like I wanted that one size fits all, with one pair of shoes, they'll be ready to go for the rest of their lives. But what we actually landed on was a shoe that can grow 5 sizes and can last for years. And it kind of depends on how hard the kids are on the shoes, but 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I wore a pair of the shoes every single day for 5 years. And it's just an amazing pair of shoes. So I'm not great at naming things, but we call it the shoe that grows. It's just kind of a simple name.
Genius.
But yeah, it can. So we're so excited. It can grow 5 sizes, and it can last for years.
So Kenton, I years ago, my kids had these little dinosaurs. It was maybe about the size of a quarter. And you'd take this dinosaur, and if you dropped it in a glass of water, it would instantly grow to be about 6 inches, 8 inches tall. So that was kind of like a one size fits all dinosaur. I could picture that. I cannot for the life of me picture how a Grow 5 size shoe would work. I mean, just to start, you've got a sole which either is going to be underneath only a teeny part of your foot when your foot gets bigger, or you're going to have to start off like you're walking in scuba fins. So can you help us? And remember, this is an audio format. It's one of the beautiful, intimate things about podcasting.
Yeah.
Help us picture, if you will, how the hell you do this.
Yeah, let me paint a picture here. So, and this is one reason I've been drawn to your messaging, Mark, on that will never work, because so many people told me as I was explaining this idea and pursuing this idea, so many people said that will never work because they couldn't quite picture it. And truth be told, I couldn't either. But as we dug into it, and it took 6 years, it took me and my friends 6 years to work on this design, to work on this idea. And this was part of it. So my original thought was, could it be like Legos? Could there be two different parts that overlap and can connect like Legos? Or for the top of the shoe, for the kids to be able to adjust it, almost like when I was a kid, I had a baseball hat that I could adjust the back, with pegs and holes. So we were thinking about that, but we actually landed on something that's super simple, but no one had ever done it before. So we actually have a patent with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, which actually a couple years ago we won the Patent for Humanity Award based on this patent. But super simple. Traditional shoes are meant to hold their shape. So the bottom, the sole, has one shape, and it is designed to hold that shape. So if your foot grows, that's why you feel some discomfort, because as your foot grows, the shoe is not supposed to grow. So we just designed our sole to be a little bit bigger, so it kind of comes up on the edges. Instead of looking nice and tight, it just kind of looks like it's a little bit too big, and it kind of comes up. And then we design those edges to be able to unfold, to be able to give. So as the foot just naturally grows and pushes against those edges are not going to hold firm. They're going to give. And as they give, they essentially become extra sole for the edges of your feet that now need it. And that's really where the growth comes from. And then on the top, we have a couple different ways through Velcro and through some loops for kids to be able to actively adjust it. They can adjust the top to where it feels good and fits comfortably. They would never adjust the bottom, but the secret sauce for the growth is in the bottom of the shoe.
Pretty cool. I get it. Very clever. When you said Lego, I was picturing that you had like two different parts that... In other words, if you think about the back of a baseball, and by the way, people, you don't have to say, when I was a kid, I had a baseball hat. People still have baseball hats that are like that.
Good.
But you can picture that, it snaps together with all the holes overlapping. And as your head swells, as you become famous or you become full of yourself, you just can let out the clips on the hat. I pictured, cool, you have two pieces of sole overlapping and little by little you unoverlap them. But I think your solution's even more elegant and simpler. So now you've designed this Grow 5 size, like the Grinch's heart. You can grow 5 sizes. Where do you go from here? What have you done with this? Is this now just basically, tell me where this went. Where is it? Where's it going?
Great. Yeah, great question. I love telling this part of the story. So I took 6 years to work on this. We had started actually a nonprofit organization called Because International to put some structure around this. And my friends and I really just wanted to get these shoes to kids around the world who needed them. And this was a passion for me, but it was a hobby in my life. This was not my full-time job. And I was so excited that we had done it. We had made a first batch of 3,000 pairs, and those shoes lived floor to ceiling in my guest bedroom in all these boxes. And slowly I started to get them out to people I knew that were working with kids around the world who needed shoes. And that's all I ever thought this was going to be. And then in 2015, we accidentally went viral. We had a story come out online about our shoes. And that day, that night, everything just took off like wildfire. That led to so many other stories and videos and all kinds of things. And so in the last 6 years, since 2015, we've distributed over 350,000 pairs of the shoe that grows to kids in over 100 countries. And we love working with partners. So we are not the ones, I'm not the one putting the shoes on the feet of kids around the world. I like to say, I don't know the kids that need the shoes. So we love talking to the people that do. We love partnering with orphanages and ministries and universities and anybody who's out in the world working with kids. And we partner with them. We work together with them to get our shoes to the kids who need them the most. And then something else I'm so excited about, one of our big goals was to produce our shoes where they're being used the most so that we can try to bring local production, cut down on shipping, be able to have more shoes available to more kids in those areas, and try to bring jobs around the manufacturing of our shoes. And so we actually so excited to say all of our shoes are made in Kenya. There's a great factory that we partner with that employs about 20 people every day making, producing the shoe that grows. And we are just thrilled about where we are kind of years later. It took us a while to build up to this, but we've got a great shoe that can grow, that can protect the feet of kids who live in dirty and dangerous situations. And we make them right there in Kenya, and we try to get them out to anybody and everybody who works with kids who need shoes.
Don't you feel a little badly that you could be employing 100 people if you just made each shoe in one size? You'd have 5 times as many pairs. No, I'm sorry. That's an amazing story. 350,000 pairs. That's a lot of feet. Well, I guess it's 700,000 feet.
So, yeah,
see how I did that? See how I'm pretty good there.
It's looking better already. Yeah, I should start talking about singular shoes, not pairs. Yeah, we're close to 1 million. Yeah,
that's marketing, baby.
That's right.
So Kenton, it sounds like you're crushing it here. I mean, you're doing good. So what are you talking to me for?
Yeah, Mark, I've got so many questions. You know, it all revolves for me. It all revolves around, I believe so strongly in this product, in this idea, and it's my baby, right? I mean, it's the idea that I had at a critical time in my life, just an amazing way. Like I'm so attached to it, but I really do believe it's a great product and it's a great idea, and I don't see many other things out there like it. And so my biggest question revolves around, you know, am I messing this up? Should I have already gotten 1 million pairs out there? You know, is there more that I can do? What else can we do with this so that we maximize this? Someone told me once, you know, my goodness, you've got this idea and you accidentally went viral. You've got lightning in a bottle. You need to use this. You know, you need to maximize this. And I think there's part of me that just is really wondering, what am I not doing? What else can I do? What can I do better? And so, you know, one part of this story too that I haven't mentioned yet. So when we went viral, we had all these people reaching out to us, and many of them were asking from the US, asking, hey, can I buy these shoes for my kids? And we told them, no, you cannot. Like that's not what we do. And we kept telling people no, but so many people asked that we finally made that available. So we do have a commercial side to this. We actually called it something different to try to brand it differently. It's called Grow 5, GROFIVE. So Grow 5, and we sell these commercially, and the sales come back, and 10% of revenue comes back to our nonprofit to support our nonprofit work, because that's really what we're all about. So on the commercial side too, it is very slow. It is very competitive, and we're not really sure where to go there as well. So on the nonprofit side, 350,000 pairs, and we're proud of that. And we're proud of our production in Kenya. We're proud of the work that we're doing. We want to do more. And on the commercial side, it's going really slow. But we know that if that could ever take off, that equals so much more awareness and attention for what we're doing, and that equals dollars in the bank account for the nonprofit so that we can do more work there too. So I'm just so worried that I'm not doing this as well as I should, and that there's more I can do, and I want to maximize this. I want to take this as far as I can take it, Mark.
Well, then let's talk about the commercial side for a minute, because I think your instincts are right, that if you can, and this is a big if you can turn this into a commercial success, it begins to, like you said, drive percentages of revenue toward the nonprofit, supports that. Lots and lots of positive good can come from it. But let's talk about that for a minute. So start with why would somebody in the United States want to buy a pair of these?
Great question. I
I
feel
can give
like
you
I
some
have five
choices if you
answers.
want.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Give me
Yeah.
five answers, but give them
Sure.
to me.
Okay.
Give them to me in order. Give
Okay.
them to me in the order that and then tell me whether you know this or just think this. What are the
Yeah.
reasons why somebody would want to buy a pair of these? What do they cost, by the way?
Yeah. On the commercial side, they cost $40.
Okay.
$40 a pair.
What do they cost you to make?
They cost us about $10. Yeah, $10 to
Okay.
make, and that's a kind of a landed cost, all in sort of a cost.
Landed here in the
So-
United States, right?
Correct. Yep. And then we sell them on our website, grow5.com, and we sell them on Amazon. And we sell
more-
about
One more question before you get to that. So, what does it cost in Kenya? In other words, if I said I'd love to give away 1,000 pairs, is that what is that? Is
Yeah.
that $5,000? Is that 2,000? What do they cost per pair there?
Yeah, on the nonprofit side, we sell them to our partners for $20 a pair, and at that price point, that supports our full program and helps us run the nonprofit as sustainably as we can. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the exact same shoe. Nonprofit shoe is the exact same shoe that we sell commercially. And so,
Okay.
so
hit me
I-
with your
I-
hit me with your
yeah.
reasons. I'm guessing.
So-
No, pardon me. I'm going on a limb here.
Yeah,
I'm
go for it.
guessing that number one on the list is not fashion.
Well, number one on the list is not fashion. 1 through 5 have nothing to do with fashion. Yeah, the number one thing we hear from our customers. The number one thing we hear from our customers is the mission. They love our mission. They know that our commercial product is tied to our nonprofit and what we're doing with the shoe that grows. They know that and they want to help out. And so number one reason is mission. Number two reason is because it grows and people want to have a growing shoe for their kids' growing feet. Usually
Why?
kids, because they are tired of their kids quickly outgrowing shoes.
Is that a
Now-
proxy for cost effectiveness?
We thought so. That was really our main projection heading into the commercial. We thought we would be a perfect shoe for a thrifty mom or dad. It is not a thrifty option. At $40, even though it grows and could last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it is still a much thriftier option to buy shoes at a thrift store, or a $10 pair of shoes on Amazon or Walmart, Target, something like that. And we've heard people tell us that. So we know we're not a thrifty option, but we do have many people that like the idea of a shoe that grows for their kids' growing feet. Probably the next one is an outdoor shoe. We have a lot of people that purchase it and give us feedback that this is great for hiking, for water, for like rafting, kind of a water outdoor type of a summer shoe. And we get a lot of that feedback. We also get a lot of feedback that, and we know this because I'll explain. We have people that have foot issues. So maybe they have feet that are one foot is larger than the other, different foot abnormalities or pain or just different foot issues that a traditional shoe does not quite do it for them. And for them to buy orthotics, specially made custom shoes are very expensive. And so they can take our shoes and adjust them on the top to wherever feels comfortable. And we also sell almost like on an airplane, if someone needs an extension of their seatbelt, we sell extensions to our Velcro so that people could even extend it a little bit more to fit their foot. And we sell a lot of those on the commercial side. And then the final thing we hear feedback on, and something we'd love to maybe explore a little more, is the environmental side of our shoe design. One shoe that could replace 3 or 4 or 5 other pairs of shoes. And the good that could do for the earth, that concept. And so we do have people that reach out to us and are interested in our shoes because of that. So, and Mark, that might, truth be told, I listed off 5 things there. That might be one of our problems. We've talked about that. Are we all things for all people? Are we trying to do too many things? We're trying to please too many people with one pair of shoes. Do we need to focus on one of those areas or do we just keep making this pretty general? We believe we do not have a product market fit on the commercial side that drives increasing traffic and sales. That's for sure.
First of all, I think the fact that you've identified 5 potential uses, drivers, which all seem to make sense, is actually pretty commendable. Be asking another, go back to the fashion one. Just how funky are these things? I mean, is this really pretty bad?
It used to be real bad. I will say that.
Listen, I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. So, Kenton, hold one up here for me. Let me see.
Yeah, sure. So this is,
and I'll have to translate for all the people.
This is what it looks like. It's almost like a shoe sandal hybrid. So it does have kind of a toe flap that comes over your toes.
It looks like a biking shoe got into a horrible accident.
Yeah. I've never had it described as that, but that's pretty accurate. Yeah. So again, the kids can adjust these Velcro straps on the sides and over the top. There's a Velcro strap on the back. So if you wanted to, you could tighten this up. And we have a lot of kids around the world that are playing soccer. They're running around. They love our shoes for that reason. We also have kids that this back piece is removable. So it could be worn more like a slip-on, like kind of a sandal, a traditional sandal. And so it's
cool.
Gotten better. It's gotten better looking over the years, but it's still.
Oh my God, that scares me.
Okay. But it's not a beautiful shoe. It's not a fun, kid-friendly. Hey, look, I want that one. Kind of a shoe.
It's actually cooler looking than I originally thought. It's more.
Oh, great.
It's kind of technical in a cool looking way. It's got lots of little buckles and.
Yes.
Now it's in black. Is this basically you can get it in any color you want as long as you like black?
On the commercial side, we do have 4 different colors. So you got a few options there. On the nonprofit side, we do just provide black. It is used pretty much universally, kind of a universal color. But on the commercial side, we have every size, and then it can grow 5 sizes. So you could start and get the full 5 sizes of growth. And we've got 4 what we think are pretty fun colors.
Okay. I'm going to solve your problem for you right here.
Oh, I'm ready. This is what I wanted, Mark.
Listen, occasionally I have these genius ideas, and I must say so. This is one of my genius ideas. No, so the thing is, you're right. You've really got to, if you haven't yet found product market fit, you're right to keep on trying to experiment. I think some of these are potentially compelling because they represent very big markets. Mission-driven shoe, big market. But the problem with a mission-driven shoe is people's willingness to buy a mission-driven shoe only goes as far as they're willing to have someone see them in public with it on. In other words, it's one thing to go, I love like Tom's, which is my most famous case probably, but you go, I love the idea that I'm buying this shoe and then part of the profit is going to providing free shoes elsewhere in the world, which is very similar to your model here. But Tom's shoes are kind of cute. People would buy those shoes. It's more of a differentiator. It's an above and beyond. It's already kind of a cute little shoe. And so you have to be careful with mission driven is that if you're fighting against, especially with shoes, people's propensity to look good in them or to want to wear them. And then the kicker, no pun intended, is to have this, that you're also can feel good about yourself. That's great. And I think environmental is in the exact same category. In other words, this is a shoe you can feel really good about buying, but not unless people really like the way it looks. So I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. Okay. The other 2, which is, so there's grows and there's foot issues.
Right.
Yeah, listen, that's a category, but it's a hard category. It's kind of a weird category. It's an abnormal category. Sure. It's not a bad one, but I would pick one aspect of it. where you could really try and get some traction out of it. For example, hypothetically, I'd pick if your feet are different sizes.
Right.
But again, it comes back to someone. It's got to be something that I actually want to wear, and that's the challenge. Okay, so that leaves, and I'm going to come back to mission and environmental in a minute, because this is not, I'm still kind of going through the non-brilliant ideas. I'm going through the blocking and tackling.
I'm loving this, Mark.
I really like the outdoor shoe piece, but this is not the big idea. But I think outdoor shoe is an interesting category because of the fact that you don't really, that outdoor shoe is about utility.
Right.
And I do a lot of water sports. I do a lot of whitewater kayaking. I do a lot of sea kayaking. I do a lot of rafting. And there you're constantly getting in, getting out. Your feet are always wet. You do not want a shoe which holds water. You want it to get wet. You want it to dry in camp. This potentially could be a great water shoe. But now people are making very dedicated and focused water shoes. So you'd have to play with how important is the multi-size thing? Not that much. Okay. I think the way you crack this nut is this is the genius idea, which I'm sure you've thought of.
Ready. I'm ready.
You make the idea a trendy thing. And you've got to mess around with the colors. Okay? And what I would do is you have a hugely compelling story, and you're a pretty persuasive guy yourself. So I think you go to, and I'll tell you how we can talk about how we get there.
Okay.
You want to end up with 10 designers, as famous as you can get them.
Okay.
You can get Kanye, whatever. You say,
yeah,
here's the shoe.
Yeah.
This shoe is made up of, how many parts is it? How many pieces are in that shoe? What's the bill of materials?
The bottom is one mold.
Yep.
And the rest is
how many straps?
Upper piece that has
it's one piece. The upper?
6. The upper is one piece with 6 straps and then a front piece. Yeah.
And how many buckles? Any?
It's not
all
any
Velcro.
Buckles. It's all Velcro except a front piece.
What I'm getting at is you go, okay, the Velcro, for example, is sewn on. So you could have different color Velcro. You could have all the Velcro different, all the same. You could have different thing. Can the straps be different color, or are they all the same?
Yeah.
If the straps can be different color, certainly the top can be different from the bottom.
Yep,
I wonder if you could figure out a way to mold so you have the bottom one color, the top another color.
Yeah,
but you basically put together a kit, which the designer doesn't need to physically do it, but you go, here's all the pieces you have to work with.
Yeah.
Design a shoe for us.
Wow.
And you're doing this because you're helping all these kids all over the world who don't have shoes. And you're going to get them on Instagram, and you're going to get them.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to basically, hopefully, get the Yeezy of one size fits all shoe.
Yeah. Mark, I was going to say that will never work, but I think that might work. That's not a bad idea.
You've got to open up the colors. You've got to let people do the craziest, coolest, weirdest things in unique colors. You've got to let someone do a glow-in-the-dark one. You've got to let someone do a bedazzled one. You've got to let someone do it which has some kind of graffiti on it.
Right, Mark. You're stretching me. You're pushing me here. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, because then people are going to it'll get you that attention.
Right.
And then not only this is mission driven. If I buy these shoes, I'm helping buy 2 more pairs for kids around the world. And I feel really good about myself because this is a shoe that's not going to end up in the landfill as my kid outgrows it. Or that I'm going to wear it because it wears for 5 years, for God's sake. So but fundamentally, I'm going to wear it because people go, that is a cool looking shoe. Where did you get that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they go, oh, isn't that the Kendall Jenner designed shoe? Sure.
Right.
But all you got to do, listen, get I know several influencers.
Gotcha.
And I could see this being something that you pitch them as a do good thing. And they don't need to do a lot of work. Designing it just means futzing around with the colors, and then you do all the heavy lifting. And you
Right.
don't even need to make, you have 3 or 4 styles that are a bit more trendy, and this just drives it. And then some of them are one of a kind. Some you only do 50, some you do 500. I'll
Sure.
hook you up with
Sure.
someone who runs a sneaker marketplace. This is
Oh,
perfect.
okay.
In other words,
Yeah. And
Ken will
we've
get you set up
never,
here.
Mark, I'm in. I'm in. And we've never done this kind of stuff. Like it's not like we've gone down that road and already tried it, lots of times, and that didn't work. We've never gone down that road. And hey, I'll try anything. I love trying things, and yeah, we're in that experimental mode still, and we're happy to make this work. Because again, we can see it. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. If we can make this happen, if we can have success on the commercial side, that's going to drive so many eyeballs and so many dollars into our nonprofit, and then we're getting more shoes out to kids. We have another awesome program where we train entrepreneurs to work on their ideas, and we want to keep funding that. We call it the Because Accelerator. Like, we're just so excited about what we're doing, and we just want to drive and maximize. Again, that's my whole goal. How can we maximize this? And if it takes some funky colors, I'm in. So thank you, Mark. This is great.
The thing is, what you're trying to do is this hybrid commercial / nonprofit model, which, if you can make it work, it's incredibly compelling. But to do that, you have to make it work on a commercial level. You can't say, buy this piece of crap, because it's easier than to say, just give me the $10. Rather than buying something you're never going to wear, you're going to throw in the back of your closet, you're going to feel good about it for a little bit. That's why I think that if you spend a little bit of creative effort into trying to make, and for a piece of article of clothing, I think you've got to go to make it compelling. You've either got to do something where it succeeds in spite of itself, or you go down the, let's see if I can get a viral hit and make these things cool. And potentially you can. And I think a great model for you is Crocs. Who are now having a resurgence, for all sake. But back when that first came out, it was the funkiest, ugliest, one-piece rubber. What the hell? But then they began coming out with them in colors. And another great was Uggs. Same thing. It was a big shearling boot, but they got people to say, this is a cool, trendy thing. And you have the potential to do that. And if you can do that, that can truly drive the nonprofit. And the fact, which Crocs did not have, which Uggs does not have, the fact that people can feel good about buying this because of its mission-driven aspect, because of the environmental benefits. Win, win, win.
Awesome. Mark, for real, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to let you know how it goes. I'll send you a pair. I'll send you a crazy, colorful pair. You're going to love it.
Fantastic. And listen, offline, let me know if I can help. I'd love if you get a program set up, and again, you want to try and make it like an erector set for people. So start with you and your team, breaking it down and go, how can we componentize this? In other words, how many different pieces can people play with the colors and fabrics? Then go to the person who I guess it's a factory in Africa, but if you, whatever it is, and say, what else can we do? What can be different? Figure out, like, for example, if you were having manufactured in Asia, for example, which I know something about, those people are unbelievable in being able to brainstorm. Well, here's what we can do in the manufacturing that's going to change the texture. Oh, we're experimenting with this, with that, with this. And it's different ways because what you want to do is put together something so simple that an influencer who does not have a lot of time can play easily with building something which is just theirs.
Sure.
Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah. And offline, I'm happy to see to help you, introduce you to a couple of people that I know who might be able to help once you kind of get this, get your package ready to pitch to people.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much. And I just want to say I've been following you on Instagram for a while. I love the messaging during those 6 years when we were trying to make this happen. The very first thing I did when I kind of got back and I wanted to pursue this idea, I tried to give it away because I'd never done anything with shoes before. So I called Nike, I called Reebok, I called Crocs, I called Toms, I called everybody to see if they wanted to take it. I didn't want any money for it. I just wanted someone to do it because I thought it was a good idea. And everybody said no. And they said, that will never work. And that's where I got a little stubborn. I thought, no, I saw it. I was at the orphanage. I saw how a growing shoe would help these kids. And if you're not going to do it, I'll figure out some way to make this happen. And so anyway, but I love your messaging. And now again, we as we work with more entrepreneurs now in a new program we have, we get to tell them that. We get to tell them, hey, don't stop. We're going to be your cheerleader, and we're going to help you because we didn't stop, and now look where we are. And so anyway, I appreciate your messaging. It really does make a difference
well, thank you.
for people like me.
I'm glad it helped. So let's check in again, maybe, I don't know, 6 months, 9 months. Let me know how it's going.
Okay.
And I'm rooting for you.
I will. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. This was fun. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kenton. Talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Mark.